Today Amit is making the famous Aloo Gosht and I'm really looking forward to my lunch. But while he's busy cooking, I am doing the hosting. So when Amit gets down to cooking, what does he do? He sort of looks at the main ingredient, which might be the meat or the chicken or the fish or whatever, and somewhere in his mind, things are churning around and he's visualizing it like the director that he is, and he then sets about creating this particular dish which has all sorts of ingredients in it, which is not following any recipe, which is coming out of his own instinctive desire for a particular taste that he's trying to reach. And that's basically how he cooks. Amit is an instinctive cook and he doesn't use any measuring devices to figure out how much of the masalas and oil and salt and things like that. He just sort of puts it in there. So it really surprises me that how he manages to get the ratios correct, the proportions perfect, and the taste just absolutely yummy. As you can see, the recipe is progressing well. The meat is ready, the potatoes are waiting, and the onions are browning. But let me tell you a little bit about Amit as a cook. He did sort of watch his mother secretly because he didn't want her to know that he was into cooking as well. I don't know why, but he picked up a lot of her tips and tricks while generally chatting with her in the kitchen. So by the time I met him, he was quite an accomplished cook. North Indian, but and he enjoys the whole process of cooking, like putting things in and a dash of this and a dash of that. And sometimes when I'm standing there, I feel a little nervous, like, are you sure you want to use so much? And he's like, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, fine, you know what you're doing, so let's get on with it. The result is always amazing, and apart from one Kerala Gosht which he made, which turned out to be Karela Gosht, let's go and see what he's doing now. This is of course very different from the way that I cook. I tend to follow recipes, methods, measures and things like that, and more traditional way of cooking. But I really enjoy watching Amit cook, though sometimes it's a little scary, but it's great fun. One thing Amit does have when he's cooking, and that is a lot of patience. He is ready to wait there for 4-5 hours, in front of the fire without getting nervous or iffy or anything, if he has to brown that meat or if he has to bhuno that masala, or if it has to cook to that exact consistency that he's looking for, and hats off to him for that. But one thing about Amit's cooking, meats and fish and chicken and all that is fine. But what really surprised me is when he did these vegetarian dishes. I remember this aloo gobi that he had made once. It was so yummy. And if you've seen some of our older episodes where he's done these Navratri thali and he's done his aunts and mothers' vegetarian recipes, and he's doing it on his own. He's not following a recipe. It's all instinctive, it's all coming from within him. So there's no, he's not reading something or talking to somebody or anything of that sort. It's absolutely Amit. So the aloo gosht looks like it's almost done, and I am going there, getting ready with my plate and my chawal. I'm going to have it with chawal, though Amit's going to have his with rotis, I think. Bengali, you can't not have aloo gosht with chawal. So I'm really looking forward to it, and those potatoes are like calling out to me that, come, 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 and I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. The meat was tender as tender can be, and the masalas had got right into the bones, so I had a great time this lunch chewing all those bones. So this is the postscript. that aloo gosht was out of this world. The potatoes were like perfectly cooked. I mean, you know, they were brown from the outside even though he hadn't fried them, and the inside was just the right amount of mushiness, silky mushiness. So go ahead, try this recipe, and the details are in the description below. So bye and see you next episode. There's a little bit of aloo gosht left, so I'm going to hide that in the fridge, and tomorrow I'm going to make some khichdi. In this weather, can you imagine khichdi and leftover mutton curry? Oh my god, I'm going to be in heaven.